Yo, what's up guys? In this video, I'm going to go over my top 5 favorite fitness YouTubers who aren't full of poop, as Greg Doucette would say. Okay, so, as a famous YouTuber myself, I watch a lot of fitness YouTube videos, and over time, you can kind of get a feel for the ones who are good and worth watching in terms of like actually learning about fitness and the ones who are just mainstream softcore porn stars who look really good, I'm sure, very good looking, jacked, but they're kind of just like vloggers who work out and promote fringe like mainstream fitness products. And my favorite I don't watch those ones. I don't. Those are I just don't watch them. I admittedly I don't know all of them, right? But like the ones that I'm more familiar with them now, having been doing YouTube for a while. And these are the ones that I watch. These are the ones that I like. I haven't seen all of them. If you guys have any recommendations for ones that you think are good that I should check out, let me know. Leave me a comment. But these ones that I'm going to go over now are my 5 favorites. Probably a lot of names you guys have seen in the past, but let's just go over them anyway. So number 1, Greg Doucette, of course, definitely on the rise. If you guys have been following my channel for a while, you know that I have been a fan of Greg Doucette since before he was famous. I liked Greg Doucette before it was cool to like Greg Doucette. And let's just go over the pros and cons, right? So for those of you who somehow don't know who Greg Doucette is, he's a Canadian bodybuilder and fitness coach, I guess. He's got a bachelor's or master's in kinesiology. I'm not sure. Anyway, the dude's pretty educated, but what I like about him is that he just gives straight talk and realistic advice, right? Where he says things like train harder than the last time, which is that's pretty much what it comes down to. It's like, all right, fine, not every day is going to be your best day, but try to train harder than you did last time. That's like the goal. That's how you improve. It's not rocket science. And what else does he say that's straight talk and realistic? Like if you're getting too fat, maybe do some more cardio or maybe don't eat as much. I like how he puts a lot of emphasis on doing cardio also, which I think is somewhat lacking in the fitness community. Nobody really talks about it, or, it's really only girls who like do it pretty much. But it's very important, especially if you are doing performance enhancing drugs, that you definitely need to do cardio to help your heart. Old school bodybuilding advice plus a science background. So this is something that I think is very valuable this is something that's good to look for if you are kind of trying to figure out who's good when it comes to like who you should take advice from. Another one is is it Lane Bryant, or is that a fashion designer? Lane something, whatever his name is, Lane whatever, the dude with the glasses. He's also good, but Greg Doucette's just more entertaining. So it's one thing to only have the bodybuilding background where you know what works and you've tried what works and you talk to your bodybuilding bros about what works. But when you have the science background with that as well, you kind of get a more well-rounded approach to fitness. But if you only have the science background, then okay, you know what works in a lab, you know what works on rats, you've read about it, but do you really have any practical experience to be able to apply that? So when you have both, I think it's kind of the best of both worlds, really. Another thing that I like about him is that he only promotes his own methods and or products, right? He sells his cookbook, he sells his training, and sure, everybody wants to make money, of course, but he's not like, I think you lose a little bit of legitimacy when you promote another company's products, because there's obviously an interest there where they're either paying you or you're getting an affiliate commission if you sell them. And you may one could make the argument that you're doing it for the money, right? Because they approached you and they said, oh, if you pitch this, then, we'll do this for you and we'll give you money and you can take a cut. But I think you get, and, to be fair, when you sell your own products, you also lose a little bit of legitimacy, because one could make the argument that you're promoting a certain method or lifestyle because you sell a product that teaches people how to do that. But slightly less, because at least those are your methods and that is actually what you're doing. You just created, an info product or a book or something like that in order to do that. So I know he's got the cookbook. I know he sells his coaching, and that's fine. You can't begrudge the guy for trying to make money. Another thing that I like about him is that he admits the importance of genetics in body composition. So one of the things that he says, he's like, you know, you can take steroids and look like shit, and some guy who's natural will look way better than you who's never worked out a day in his life. And that's unfortunately true. Genetics do play a very big role in how you look. And this is something that, like, when I was actually a personal trainer, we would talk about this all the time. We'd say, like, yeah, you've got guys who have great genetics who are booked solid because they look really impressive, but don't know shit about training. And then you've got other guys who maybe don't look as good because their genetics are shit, and but they know a lot. You know, they aced the fucking, what is it, the like personal trainer test or whatever it is. So that's something very important that not a lot of people talk about, because it's one of these things. It's like, if you admit that it's true, you know, it's like the whole like looks and money, right? With women, it's like, if you admit that looks and money matter, and you don't have looks or money, then you're kind of giving yourself a way out to not improve yourself. It's the same thing with genetics, with fitness. If you're admitting that genetics matter and you're saying, oh, well, my genetics are shit, why should I try? Then it's kind of demotivational. Another good thing about him is that he points out fake natties, right? So this is like, the fitness industry is pretty much unregulated, and you have all kinds of people making all kinds of claims and just fucking straight up lying or not admitting that they take drugs, and that's very impactful on their you know, their success, or their like the way that they look, basically, and the way that they're able to train. And without it's okay if you do that. It's okay if you take steroids. I don't think there's anything ethically wrong with that in and of itself. But when you take steroids and you hide that fact that you take them, and you promote a certain lifestyle or a certain fitness training program or something, or a certain supplement, and you don't disclose that you're also taking steroids, then I think that there's an ethical issue there for sure. Okay, what I don't like about Greg Doucette, and this is just me, he loves to advocate these like low calorie dense, what I call fake foods. That's just his style, I guess. Obviously works for him. The dude is jacked. He's won bodybuilding shows. He's, you know, super fucking successful in the whole like bodybuilding world. He coaches people. People use his, you know, strategies successfully. I don't like it because it's too many. There's too many moving parts. It's too much work, recipes, and buying this product and that product, and counting calories. It's not my style. I prefer like a more minimalist approach. Not saying that his style doesn't work. It does, clearly. I just don't like it. That's just my personal, you know, preference, I guess. Another thing I don't like is that he minimally acknowledges the effects of TRT on metabolism. So like, he does admit it, right? He does say like, I do this and I'm enhanced, so imagine how hard it would be for somebody else if they're not. He does say stuff like that frequently. I think that when it comes to nutrition, I think you have a little bit more leeway to eat these like fake foods when you are on TRT. And I don't think that is acknowledged enough in, you know, the videos that he makes. I don't think that's really touched on. He kind of just like makes this like offhand comment like, oh, HRT made this video for me, like implying that like, oh, he's only gotten to where he is, all this stuff because of HRT, and then he doesn't actually do the work. HRT made my video, HRT cooked me breakfast, HRT like did this and that, kind of like makes a joke about it. And I think it would be whatever, minor points, really, honestly. He's hilarious. But I think that it would add a little bit more credibility if he maybe admitted that like you can afford to eat these foods a little bit more, which will have an effect on your insulin level, which will make you store more fat if you're on TRT, and you can kind of counterbalance that. Okay, next one, more plates, more dates. This is one of my new favorite YouTubers, okay? I knew this guy was around. Never really watched his videos because I don't know why. I'm not really sure why I didn't watch his videos, but since I started getting into TRT, I started watching more of his videos, and it's like, oh my God. I feel like every video of his that I watch, I feel like I'm just getting smarter. Even if I don't understand fucking 80% of what he says, I'm just like, holy shit, like this guy's so smart. He could be totally wrong about everything, but it's just like, I don't know, makes me feel so much smarter to watch his videos. And he's very knowledgeable. Probably, and okay, so my first point, the best number one resource for performance enhancing drugs on YouTube. 100%. There is nobody who knows more and has made as many videos across a wide range of topics as this guy. This guy is number one. You want to learn something about some sort of, you know, steroid or something? watch. This guy probably has a video on it, and you can watch it, as well as all of the other like peripheral videos about them, like hair loss, and I'm assuming he's got stuff about like acne. I haven't really watched those. Obviously, YouTube loves the hair loss videos, so he's made quite a few on that. Things like finasteride, DHT, how to like, regrow your hair and stuff like that. So that is like, he is the number one best resource for things like that. Another thing I like about him is that he speaks in literal language, right? When he's explaining something and he's like countering a point that maybe some other YouTuber or some fitness celebrity made in another video, he will like explain things exactly the way they are, right? For example, let's say I don't know, I'm just thinking a random example here. Let's say he made a video. I watched a couple of videos of his where he talks about celebrities who go on steroids for a movie role and they claim to gain like 50 pounds of muscle in 3 months or something like that. And he'll say like, okay, when you're injecting 200, milligrams of test E per week and your androgen receptors are saturated and you're building muscle at an increased rate, like, you understand? He'll like actually explain things literally the way they are instead of this, bullshit language that most people use. I don't know. Maybe nobody else notices it. I notice it, and that alone right there makes me like, I just enjoy watching his videos because of that. Other than that, he seems to be an experienced biohacker in addition to like, which is what I think is what led him to kind of discover and research the performance enhancing drugs. Because that's like, in my opinion at least, that's kind of like the top level of biohacking is like, once you start messing with your hormones, that's kind of where, I don't want to say that's where you stop, but like that's you kind of need to have a lot of experience with other supplements and like herbs and vitamins and drugs in order to like graduate to finally messing with your hormones, because that's kind of the biggest risk, biggest reward, in my opinion. And if you don't have the experience from before, from all the lower levels, then you can get into trouble really quickly with that kind of thing. So he knows about phenibut, modafinil, all that stuff. Like, he's got the full range of experience with various supplements and PEDs, obviously. Another thing, he uses himself as a guinea pig. So he's got a lot of like experiences of him saying, I did this and this happened, specifically with like the hair loss stuff and, the workout video, or not workout videos, but like the steroid videos. Also points out fake natties. There's a lot of overlap, especially lately, between him and Greg Doucette, where they will literally cover like the exact same video. It's kind of funny. Like, you'll watch it, like, what was it? The Paulo Costa. There was like a couple weeks there where they were literally releasing a video on the same topic every day. And I think they both do like 2 videos a day too. So it's like, what's Paulo Costa's steroid cycle? One from More Plates, More Dates, one from Greg Doucette. And then it's like Israel Adesanya has gyno, one from this guy, one from that guy. And now it's like Colin Von Mager, how did he build 15 pounds of muscle in 6 weeks? One from him, one from him. But his fake natty videos are very entertaining and very, it gives you like an opportunity to kind of look at a real world example of somebody who usually a celebrity or an athlete, and kind of analyze them as if they were just a random person. But because they're in the public eye and there's lots of media about them or with them in it, I guess, lots of pictures and videos basically, it's very interesting to look at a celebrity and basically hear whether or not they achieved what they achieved based on his opinion as a result of using steroids normally, is what the popular videos seem to be. One of the cons is that his videos tend to drone on a little bit too long sometimes. This is something that he's acknowledged in a few recent videos, and it seems to be something that he is working on as well. But some of his videos, like, you watch it and it's like, okay, you made the point, and then he just like reinforces the point like over and over, and it's like, all right, I get it. Like, let's move on a little bit. Like, I just watched a video. He made one about Dmitry Stuzuk, the fitness influencer who died from COVID. And he made this video about like ACE2 and like, angio something. I don't know, it's crazy big words I don't even understand. But like, I was like, oh my God, what am I even listening to? Like, this seemed like such an interesting video. And then it's just hear this guy like droning on for way too long about stuff that's not that interesting. But minor gripe. And also another con is that the dude's shoulders are obviously way too small. Like, why don't you work on your shoulders, bro? Like, just do a couple more lat raises, you know? Your shoulders are lagging a little bit. Okay, snake diet guy. Obviously, if you watch my videos, you know that I like snake diet guy. I like fasting. What's not to like about this guy, right? Okay, so let's go over the pros and cons. Pro, number one, the best resource for fasting on YouTube or anywhere. Nobody's better than this guy. There's nobody who knows more about fasting than him. Bottom line. If there's somebody who knows more, please show me who they are. Nobody has taken fasting to, nobody has like experimented on themselves with fasting as much as he has. Nobody has done all his protocols other than him. He's the thought leader in fasting. The second thing that is so good about him, so number one, the fasting information is really good. If you were able to kind of isolate that from his personality, that alone is amazing, right? Just like the protocols, how to do them. Not that it's anything revolutionary, like don't eat for 2 days and then eat meat. Like, oh my God, wow, amazing. But as simple as that sounds, nobody recommended that before. Nobody combined those two things, really. Eat for 2 days, or don't eat for 2 days, then eat meat, then take 3 days and don't eat, and then eat meat and vegetables. Like, as simple as that sounds, I had never heard that before, and I doubt that was recommended anywhere else. And now he's got all the different variations. The second one spits harsh truths about fat people and being fat, right? Being fat is unattractive, being fat is unhealthy, and he conveys these messages in a very direct and inflammatory way. In other words, he'll spend an hour yelling at the camera, calling people fat pigs and telling them how disgusting they are in much more profane ways than that. Dropping F-bombs left and right. Like, the guy does not care about anything other than delivering his message in exactly the way that he wants to deliver it. And you got to admire that, really. You got to admire that about the guy. He is unapologetic, completely unapologetic. And in addition to that, his methods work, right? And if you ever watch any of his live streams, you'll see that there's so many people who are so appreciative of him communicating in that way. Because I feel like a lot of the time you have a lot of people who are extremely overweight, or they have a problem, whatever the problem is. Weight is an easy to identify problem. But nobody calls them a fat pig. Nobody makes them experience that like reality check. And people are very appreciative that he did. And he's got a ton of testimonials, people losing a lot of weight, doing what he recommends. And the guy's got like a cult following now, because of that. Another good thing about him is that he refused to sell out and go mainstream. So a couple of years ago when he started to get really popular, he got a lot of offers from, various places saying basically like, let us promote you, tone down your message a little bit, and we'll make you rich, basically. And the dude pretty much rejected it. He mentioned this in a few videos where he was like, do you know how many people offer me this and offer me that? And I could be a millionaire if I wanted to in a couple months. But I don't want to do it because I know that once I start getting a lot of money, it's going to change me. And I'm not going to be as passionate about this as I am anymore. And it's going to completely like ruin this movement that I have. So whether or not like he chooses to cash in at a later date, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't hold it against him. I don't think anybody else would either. Like, the dude has done his part for sure. But I just think it's kind of, I don't want to say honorable, but it's commendable, I guess, that he made the choice to kind of refuse a lot of money in order to kind of keep his message pure, I guess. Another thing, uses himself as a guinea pig, right? All these fasting protocols that he comes up with, he tries on himself first. The guy's done like 8-day fasts, 5-day dry fasts. He's got like death fasting, which is where, I don't know, you spend like 6 hours in a sauna or something like that. Crazy shit that he all tests on himself first. Another good thing about him is that he promotes a Spartan lifestyle. So he kind of like rejects extravagance, which is good. I think we could all kind of use a little bit of a reality check there, that a lot of these extravagant things that we see and usually desire in life are not really necessary to be happy. And that is another kind of message that he promotes. Some of the cons, he doesn't upload that much anymore. Occasionally. I don't think he doesn't go live as much as he used to. He doesn't upload videos that often. So it kind of sucks. He's got a ton of content that you're welcome to watch. Tons of live streams and stuff like that. But he's not very active on YouTube anymore. And another one of the cons is that he rejects modernity a little bit too much, in my opinion. Things like being celibate and like rejecting females altogether and stuff like that. I personally I wouldn't want to live like that. That's just me. Again, this is just my opinion about that. But again, if you're able to separate, you're not going to agree with everything somebody says. You're just not going to. 100% of everything that they think, you're going to think the exact same way. It's not going to happen. But the fitness stuff, amazing. Like this guy is pretty much I would say pretty much more than anybody else. I agree with him about just about everything regarding fitness. Nutrition, fasting, working out, stuff like that. This guy's the real deal. Okay, this one. I don't talk about this guy really ever. Shredded Sports Science. This guy, the dude on the right here, James, is this like quirky English guy who makes these videos where he basically rips on corny, cringy people in the fitness industry. Mainly like social media fitness industry, which I guess is the fitness industry is pretty much social media now. But he basically makes these highly edited, very entertaining videos about how just like dumb shit, like people doing dumb shit in the gym and all these like fitness influencers acting stupid, all these like really cringe, like he rips on Cali Muscle a lot, this like big roided out black dude. How he just does like, and the guy's an entertainer, of course, but just some of the stuff, it's like, is this fitness or is this entertainment? So basically he rips on I guess like the mainstream entertainer fitness people, not the like actual knowledgeable ones. Another good thing about him is that all of his points are backed up by studies, right? So he'll basically look at some fitness influencer making a claim about something. One of his things is that he hates BCAAs, right? Branched chain amino acids, which are included in essential amino acids. So the thing about BCAAs is like they're unnecessary because they're already included in essential amino acids. And if you, for example, like take whey protein, which I know a lot of people do, I don't like it, but a lot of people do, then you don't need additional BCAAs because they're already basically in whey protein in amounts that are sufficient. So it's kind of a useless supplement, and it's a very easy way to tell if somebody has any idea what they're talking about is whether or not they promote BCAAs, right? It's kind of like it's a litmus test. If you've got a fitness influencer and they promote BCAAs, they have no idea what they're talking about, and they're just being paid by the supplement company to promote them. So he makes that point frequently. All of his points are backed up by studies. So in addition to the whole BCAA thing, talks about the anabolic window and like, fat burning pills and stuff like that. And the points that he will make, whether he says that they're legit or not legit, he will back them up by scientific studies. So it is a good way to be entertained while you're learning about the science behind certain fitness principles, I guess. But that brings me to my next con right here, which is that maybe it's a little bit too much emphasis on the science and not enough of taking into account the aggregate of like anecdotal experiences of large amounts of people, which is not, and he does kind of mention things like that. Like one video that he made where he talks about like fat burners don't work because you can't trick your body into thinking that it's burning more calories than it actually is, or you can't trick your body into thinking that it needs to burn more calories because it has higher caloric demands, something like that. And then he'll make a point of like, well, actually, okay, I know people have told me yohimbe will help them burn fat, but it's temporary because eventually your body will go into homeostasis, blah, 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 and you'll get used to the effect. So he will kind of touch on things like that. There's like a slight mention of that, but he really relies on the science, as you know, it says right here, shredded sports science. And the last one, Jeff Cavaliere, Athlete X, right? I know there's been a lot of controversy about this guy lately, or a month or two ago, when, you know, he had his little beef with Greg Doucette, and he like, let's make $1 million bet. Whoever wins, you know, deletes their channel, or, you know, the loser deletes their channel. It's like a little juvenile, and reactionary, but still. And okay, I guess we'll start with the cons first with him. The dude's probably on TRT. He's 45 years old. And come on, I mean, look at the guy. Like, genetics are not, this is pretty impressive for a 45-year-old man. You know what I mean? Like, probably on TRT. And honestly, if he was on TRT, who cares? Like, bro, you earned it. Your videos are brilliant. Like, tell us you're on TRT. It's fine. Nobody cares, really. Actually, nobody cares. Just tell us to do face pulls, you know, internal rotation, whatever. We're good. Nobody actually cares. And the whole fake weights thing, like, who cares? The only people that care that he uses fake weights are people who probably don't lift anyway and are just concerned with the fact that, like, he misrepresented himself in a video by using fake weights. Like, look at the dude. Does he look like a weak guy? Does he look like a guy who does not work out? Okay, so he made a video where he deadlifted 300 pounds or 400 pounds. Well, who fucking cares? He's demonstrating. It's like those videos that they have in the documentaries, you know, the reenactment, where they reenact like the murder of somebody. Are you going to be like, oh my God, they didn't actually murder that person just now? It was a reenactment. Like, who cares? The guy's advice is still pretty much the best on YouTube when it comes to fitness. Like, name one person who makes better videos than Jeff Cavaliere about biomechanics. Name one person, one, who's got as many amazing videos as this guy on the topic. Leave me a comment, please. I would love to know. Yeah, so amazing collection of biomechanics tips. I think he's got 1,000 videos, maybe a little bit more than 1,000 at this point. Best resource for shoulder rehab on YouTube. As somebody who has shoulder issues, every time I'll type in some video or some topic like how to loosen your shoulder or something like that, Jeff Cavaliere is like the top 5 search results every single time. So, and not just for that too, any sort of back issues, hip flexors, anything. This guy has like made a video on everything, and it's very easy. His videos are easy to understand. He's humble. He's chill. You know, I think all the hate that he's gotten lately is really people just riding the Greg Doucette wave of popularity and just kind of turning on him because, you know, Greg Doucette's going to do his thing and he's going to beef with everybody. Just, he doesn't fucking care. But I think to kind of like imply that Jeff Cavaliere is somehow not as knowledgeable as his 1,000 videos imply or show, I think that's not fair at all, and it's short-sighted, and it's clearly only believed by people who don't care about fitness and care more about drama when they, you know, try to discredit him. The dude is jacked despite being nearly 50 years old. I don't care, you know. I don't think he's on a high dose of TRT. I could be totally wrong. From what it sounds like, the dude works out obsessively, and he's mentioned in a few videos that he undereats also a lot. I would think to be able to maintain this look, because he makes videos like the dude is like shirtless all the time in his videos, because I'm assuming here he wants to show off his physique so he can sell his programs, which is basically how a lot of people promote their fitness business, I guess, is by showing off their body, because the idea is like, here's what I look like following my methods. If you follow my methods, you can look like this too, which is kind of the ethical issue we talked about earlier with fake natties and stuff like that. And also his channel is kind of like a combination of physiotherapy and lifting or training, I guess. So also really good. Jeff Cavaliere is the real deal. Those are my top 5 fitness YouTubers. What do you guys think about them? Are there any other fitness YouTubers that I should look at? Let me know. Leave me a comment. Peace.